from Glasgow University Riding Club. Welcome to our Yoga for Riders series, where we're looking at how we might improve our riding whilst not being able to actually ride. Today's episode is going to be on legs. You can see we've already started practicing. Today's episode is on legs. And as usual, you know, this series is in support of RDA Glasgow. They provide wonderful therapies and services for people with disabilities and special needs. So if you find these videos at all helpful, please consider donating using the Just Giving link in the description box. Why didn't I just start on this side? Today we're going to start in child's pose. You can have your knees as wide as the mat or together, whatever feels good to you. Just take a few deep breaths and begin to arrive in your practice. Feel the breath circulating around your body. From here, we're going to move to our tabletop position briefly. Tuck your feet. Press, try to have all of your toes on the floor, and then slowly start to walk your hands back, so you're sitting back on your heels whilst on your knees. This might be a very intense stretch, so if it feels too much, feel free to keep a bend forward, keep your hands in front of you. We don't usually stretch our feet very much, so this plantar sitting stretch can be quite a lot, but it's very good for your feet. And remember to breathe. Slowly come out of this position, and we're going to move into a low lunge. Right foot forward, square your hips towards the front of the mat. Inhale to reach up, and then interlace your fingers behind your neck and lean forward. Try to balance here, keeping your hips square. And then inhale, and on the exhale, twist towards your right leg. Plant your left hand on the floor, and just gently keep the twist. And breathe. Untwist slowly, hands interlace behind your neck. And inhale to stretch. From here, we're going to move into tabletop position briefly, and moving our right foot back. Press the right foot straight behind you, and ball of the foot against the floor to stretch your calf, and really push back into that ball of your foot to feel that stretch in your calf. And then second side. Left leg forward, square your hips towards the front of the mat. Inhale to come up into your low lunge. If it's not challenging enough, you can always straighten your back leg and take your knee off the floor. Same principles apply. Interlace your fingers behind your neck. Lean forward, stretching. Try to keep balanced. And inhale, exhale to twist. It's too much, you can always return your knee to the floor. Just showing both variations here. Try to look towards the ceiling and lengthen forward. And then our calf stretch, second side, tabletop, to reaching your leg back and really pushing into the ball of your foot. Try to keep your hips level here and just breathe. From here, we're going to pop into a downward facing dog, just briefly. Keep a generous bend in the knees to push your hips towards the sky. Take a deep breath in and exhale. And then slowly walk, step, jump, shuffle to the top of your mat. And exhale to your forward fold. Inhaling, sweep your arms up. Give it a good stretch. From here, we're going to stretch our ankles a bit. So first we're going to mobilize right ball of foot on the floor and just do ankle circles. try to really explore the range of motion or lack thereof that you have in your ankle. And then mine crack and creak like crazy when I do this. Just do circles both ways, keeping balance, keeping your core active. And then we're going to stretch the front of our foot ankle. So tucking your spine, you're going to place the top of your foot on the floor and gently stretch forward. You don't have to put it much behind you, but just keep that neutral spine so you're not arching your back. From here, without thinking about it too much, try to sweep your leg forward as high as you can and then squeeze it in towards your chest. If you feel wobbly here, that's fine. You can grab something for balance, but that's just your body trying to keep you balanced. Let your leg land on your calf or your thigh, whatever feels comfortable, not on your knee. And then just inhale and try to stand tall for tree pose. Feel how much power you have in your legs as they try to balance you. You can keep your hands at prayer or not. Slowly release your leg. So maybe squeeze it in one more time. And then we're going to do the second side. So the wobble when you're standing on one leg is actually not a bad thing. There's a lot of muscle required to actually keep you balanced, and strength is what keeps you balanced. And if you need to hold on to something, just do that. That's okay. You still build up the strength and the balance if you're holding on to something. So we're stretching the front of our ankle here. Again, keeping our tail tucked. Pushing our hip forward and pushing the foot into the floor. Sweep your left leg up this time towards the chest and then grab it to squeeze it in. And then let your foot land somewhere on the other leg as you turn the knee out to the side. On your calf, on your thigh, whatever feels good, but not on your knee. And hold on to something if you need to, or bring your hands to prayer by your sternum. And then look at some spot on the floor and just breathe. Feel the strength you have in your legs already. Rider legs of steel. If you wobble and lose your balance, that's fine. Just try to come back to it. Right, shake your legs out a little bit. Turning to stand here. And I'm going to do some brief wide-legged folds. So step your legs wide. Inhale to come up. Hands on your hips. Maybe keep a little bend in the knees as you lean forward. And then come up for a half lift with a straight back. Inhale and exhale. Let yourself fold forward. Keep a micro bend in the knees. Try to keep your feet straight rather than toes pushed out. Maybe widen your stance if you want. By keeping your knees bent, you can try to push your hips towards the sky. Maybe walk your hands more in line with your feet. Inhale for a half lift. Stretching your back straight. And exhale again. Interlace your fingers behind your neck if that feels good. And just work with your balance. And pushing your hips to the sky. From your toes all the way to your hips. Just feel the energy surging up. Inhale to a halfway lift. And hands on your hips to slowly come up with a bend in your knees. From here, we're going to meet in tabletop position, however you wish to get there. We're going to set ourselves up with hands under our shoulders, knees under our hips. Reach your left leg back and reach your right hand back and see if you can reach your foot. Maybe turn your hand around to grab the inside of your foot so your thumb points upwards, and then kick your foot into your hand as you try to balance as straight as possible. Keep breathing. And look a little bit in front of your hand to keep that straightness. And slowly return. Then we're going to reach our foot behind us, turn around here for a side plank with our knee down. You can turn the foot that's on the floor towards the back so you have a bit more balance. And if you want, you can raise your left leg, reaching forward or up with your left arm. Feel your core working, feel all the effort it takes to actually lift that leg of yours. And then slowly return to tabletop. And second side for our little half frog. Reaching our right leg up and reach back with your hand to try to grab your foot. Ideally, maybe you can get your thumb pointing upwards for that really nice stretch. Try to keep your hips and everything balanced. Look a little bit ahead of your hand. If you can't reach your foot, that's totally fine. You can just keep your leg raised. And from here, I'm going to swivel around. You see I moved my left foot a little bit behind for balance. You can keep your right leg lifted or on the ground, but just keep it straight. Really feel the power you have in that side body. Slowly returning to tabletop position. And we're going to come to sit back on our heels. If that's too much, you can put a cushion or something between your feet so you have something to sit on that elevates you. From here we're going to be moving into doing some half and full camels. Just keep a nice neutral spine and keep your core engaged. Take a deep breath and rise onto your knees. You're going to put your hands on your tushy like you have a back pocket, and here don't just flop backwards, over bending your neck and back. That's not good. Instead, push your hips forward, keep a really straight, strong core, and if it's available to you, you can reach back with your left hand to grab your left heel. Your right hand comes up. Try to square your shoulders. To come up, place your hands to support your hips. Inhale slowly to come up and sit back down for a moment. Just reflect for a breath or two on how that felt. Going to do the second side. Again, tilting your hips forward and supporting your back as you try to keep as straight as possible, leaning back. Then try to reach down. If it's available to you, grab your right heel with your right hand. Your left hand reaching towards the sky. Keep your hips pushing forward. Square your shoulders towards the ceiling. Hands on hips to slowly come up. Sit back on your heels for just a couple of breaths. If that didn't feel good to you, feel free to stop here. But if you felt like that was okay and available to you, come up one more time for a full camel. Again, placing your hands on your back like they're in your back pockets. Inhaling, push your hips forward. Keep as straight as possible as you lean back. Lean back, and maybe you can reach your heels. You can also place, if you have that cushion there, you can just put your hands on the cushion and gently and carefully lean your head back if it's open to you. Feel the stretch in the front of your hip and just breathe here. Come up, hands on your lower back. Keep your neck leaning back and slowly inhale. As you come up and sit back, let the neck be the last thing that straightens. You need to be very careful with your neck at all times. Here, just swing your legs in front of you, and we're going to settle in for some forward folds. Again, if you feel your lower back just pushing out awkwardly, feel free to sit on a cushion or a block. If you can only reach the back of your thighs, that's fine. If you can reach your shins, ankles, that's fine. I can reach my feet, so that's what I'm going for. You can keep a generous bend in the knees so you can reach your feet. And then you can grab your feet and push away as your hands pull you forward. And just keep breathing here. Maybe look at your toes, try to strive towards them. If The stretch should mainly be in your lower back, so make sure to fill that up with air as you inhale and exhale. Feel something leave the tense parts of your body. Maybe see if you can work on straightening your legs, or maybe just let yourself fold over your legs like a floppy rag doll. When you're ready, come up slowly on an inhale and roll over onto your back. Just lean back. We're going to give our lower back a wee massage by pulling our knees to our chest and just rolling around. And then take a last breath in and out. And put your legs wide, your hands wide, and settle in for Shavasana. Feel free to stay here for as long as you like. When you're ready, just roll onto your side and slowly come up to sit. Take a moment to thank yourself for taking the time to do this practice. As you know, this series is in support of RDA Glasgow. Please check out the Just Giving link in the description if you've found these videos at all helpful. Next week we'll be doing hips again. Next two videos will be a little bit more demanding, maybe physically, but I'm going to try to make sure there's modifications and stuff for people who might find that a little bit intense. Anyway, I'll see you next week. Namaste.